I know, huh?
These
So
dogs.
excitement.
I know, it's a lot of excitement. Okay, so where were we? So anyway, we were talking about your great adventures.
Yes.
So I want to know, and I know that we kind of touched on this a little bit about the biblical aspect of this in the ancient writings.
Right.
Do you think that it's escalated, like because of the world now? Like we're in 2021, all of this crazy stuff happened last year.
Well, it's all biblical.
Okay.
Okay, everything is biblical. What we're in right now with this COVID right here is what is called the birth pains. Okay. Now, when you look at you have children, so you know how the birth pains go. It's just not one constant long ass one.
Yeah.
You go through some, and then it subsides, and then you go through some more, but they keep progressively getting worse and worse and worse,
right,
until finally you give birth. Our thing is that this COVID thing, this is just the drop in the bucket right here. This is like the beginnings of those pains, because this one hit and people still aren't really catching the repercussions of it. It didn't just make people sick or some people die. Look at our economy now, okay? Our economy, everything, the prices of everything have gone up, like 2x4s, like you say, 200%, and all kinds of stuff. Ridiculous. But, that's the tip of it. That's the beginning of the end. Because now, when you look at what they wanted to do before, like you were talking about the one world order.
One world order, yeah.
Well, not just the Republicans, but the Democrats too. Even Kennedy was talking about, and even a few before him, but was talking about a one world order and things. So, now it's coming through because we are not the dog on the block anymore. There are other that have built big houses on the block now. There's a time when we owned the whole block and stuff. We don't. You got to make way for the Chinese. You got to make way for the Japanese. You got to make way for the EU, Russia. All these players are coming in now, and everything's coming together.
Right.
It's like looking at an embryo, and then 2 weeks later, you're looking at the forms of the baby, and then it keeps going. Well, this thing is growing. And so, the bit and all that stuff, it will play a big part of it. But the ones who's going to be the regulatory agency will be out of the EU. And so
for the New World Order.
And it'll be the New World Order. So they're going to bring everybody together saying, look, everybody owes everybody so much money, this, that. We can't function by the dollar anymore.
Yeah, no, we can't. That's awful.
Well,
for sure.
The thing is they don't want to function by the dollar. By defunking the dollar itself, that means that now it's an open market.
Right.
See,
well, it's got to be backed by gold again, wasn't it? Like,
right. It will have to be backed
by gold anymore.
Now, there you go. That's the other key part of this, is that backed by gold. Now, when you get into the part where they will attack the king of the south, which is south of Israel's, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Libya, all that stuff down there. All of a sudden, here's Egypt with all this massive gold. So you stop and you think, okay, we got the massive gold. We have all the oil fields. We have all the resources that they have here. Now, what do we have to do right now to put a stop to the aggression of the United States? Because, see, we're friends with Saudi Arabia. So when they come marching through, that's going to piss us off. That right there is our demise, because, well, shit's starting to go on down there. America will be attacked by the Syrians, biblically speaking. And when that happens, we're screwed. Our arrogance and our pride, with our politicians and legislation and all that stuff, has left us so vulnerable. Look at all these
pride. So like worshiping false idols is what you're talking about.
Exactly. You're worshiping false idols, but also
and Hollywood and all that.
your
because
Hollywood.
they're right next to the political arena.
Everything is so tied together. I mean, it's just like a bunch of zits on somebody or warts or something. When the body fails, all these little things fail too. And so when you stop and you think, okay, someone sends off a pulse, okay, nothing works electronic. Your phones, your computers, your cars, nothing works. It shuts down. So now your communications are shut down unless you got a landline. Now you got to stop and think, okay, what's just happened? Well, they shut down an oil pipeline. That was huge. Then they just got finished shutting down the meat packing plant.
Oh, I didn't know that one.
Oh, yeah, the JBSs or something.
I mean, that makes sense. I didn't know about the meat packing plant, but we'll just say, I don't want to, I'll bleep it out, but Gates, right, has bought up all of this land for, because so there's this thing, are they going to try to make us eat fake meat, which is all this, like, it's basically poison. I'm not like an advocate because I'm like, you can do vegetarian, whatever, but they're going to make us eat this crap, right?
Right. You know,
and is that part of this new world order kind of thing?
Well, yeah, because see, pretty soon you're going to have to feed the masses and stuff. Plus, you got to see the writing on the wall. And these people aren't stupid. They know it, but they don't want to make everyone panic because they don't have any answers to give. So it's business as usual.
Right.
But really behind the scenes, other things are taking place. That's why, Biden's trying to suck up to the Iranians here. He wants to give them all these billions of dollars that Obama was giving them for this bullshit nuclear thing. All they did was just give money to buy more arms and weapons and things. They didn't stop anything.
Siphoning all this money that through taxes and all of our, and that's the thing, like taxes aren't even supposed to be a thing because we weren't supposed to have taxes. Like we voted, it wasn't that we voted against it a long time ago, and then they tried to pull it in by saying, oh, it's got to pay for this and this, and then we're going to stop it. And then it just continued.
It just grows, right. Oh, so, but
and then
this,
you got the new, so there's like shadow governments basically, and
exactly.
shadow, I don't even want to say government because it's not only the government.
Dealings,
I mean,
you're right. Illicit dealings. Yeah.
To you, is that, like, I call it like the dark side, the dark beings, whatever. Is that what that is to you? Because there's like, it's almost like, to me anyway, angels and demons kind of thing.
You're right about that, because you got to look at the world as in yes, no, light, dark, truth, false. And when you look at it, these people don't make any sense in what they're telling you.
Yeah.
Because they're influenced by the wrong signals. They're on the demonic signals because Satan is the ruler of this world, the prince of the air. So he influences the mind, and the weaker minds are so easily influenced to do stupid things, go this way or that way, like the Black Lives Matter, like the gay movements, all the things that they're trying to pump down everyone's throat and say it's cool.
And divide people.
And divide
That's
people.
I'm like, it's not about like what's right and what's wrong now. It's about division. And it's divide and conquer, right?
See,
so if we were all to band together and not have to worry about color or whatever.
It's a form of genocide. What you got, too much population. Okay, we can't control all these people. And that's what they're worried about with what happened at the Capitol. But see, what they're failing to realize is what that thing was about at the Capitol was letting the government know, look, we as a nation came from the same shit you're trying to pull on us now that they were pulling back in England and France and all that. That's why they all came over here. Yeah, initially it was giving land and other little things for the queen or whatever kind of shit. But really way deep down, no.
So you think that was staged?
I do.
I do too.
Yeah. And so, you just got to look at things for, beyond just the atypical, because this is serious business. Absolutely. This is dealing with things that are so far out there that the typical person doesn't want to take the time to think about it. They want to sit down and go look at their cable TVs. They want to sit down and go party, want to go out and hobnob and all these other things, which is fine and dandy. But it takes your eyes off of the prize.
Yes.
Takes your eyes off of what's going on around you. So we have all this entertainment stuff. We got all these neat things that take
To look the other way.
to look the other way. And that's all it is, like a bribe. Here,
and
here.
influence.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, massive influencing, because we've got all these kids, like, they don't, in all honesty, for a very long time, and it doesn't make a difference, you know, to me, who likes what, because I'm all for, you know, everybody using their own brain.
Right.
But, you know, with my own kids, it's like the only reason why they liked a certain politician or whatever was because it was on TikTok, or it was on, you know, and I'm like, you are so not. So it's like digging deep, because the media is not going to show you anything that like what's really going on.
Right. They're going to show you, especially if it's their party or
like,
candidate.
Oh,
yeah.
He's so nice because he did this. And you know, so-and-so did this.
He's a baby
like,
hugger.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, well, how do you know?
Yeah.
Like, there's not other stuff behind the scenes going on. And that's what I'm all about. It's like using your own intuition, which to me is our God-given right? Like our connection to God. It's like through breath, which it was covered, right? Like that to me, I'm like, okay, your breath is your connection with source, right? Your connection with God. And then they cut that off. They're trying to.
Right.
And so, I mean, if your breath is covered or stopped, right? Or not stopped because you're still breathing, but, you know, slowed down, I guess, by covering up, then you're not thinking clearly.
True.
And so, to me, this all ties into everything we're talking about in the New World Order and all these things. And there's so many people that are like, oh, those are all conspiracy theories. But a lot of these conspiracy theories are turning out to be true. So they're not theories. And the word conspiracy was coined by CIA, right?
Okay,
Right, to make you think, oh, okay, well, that's just, she's crazy or he's crazy.
Right.
But so I also wanted to ask you about, I want to go into 9/11 and all that, but let's first back up and say, like, so Bush Sr., right? He was the head of the CIA.
Right.
At one point in time. And that, you know, it's so weird to me how some people are like, oh no, he wasn't. And it was like another George Bush. Like,
no,
what are you talking about?
No.
So he was the head of the CIA when the Kennedy assassination happened.
Right.
Okay. And then all of a sudden you get, and a lot of, you know, things happen in between there. But then you've got Bush Jr. that comes in during the 9/11 attacks.
Right.
And so do you think that has to do with this New World Order? Because he openly talked about both of them, Senior and Junior, openly talk, and they straight up say the New World Order. Is that biblical? And is that in the Bible?
Yeah, so actually it is. That's around the time when you find in the Bible this new leader who's coming up here in Germany pretty soon. Does this big peace thing with everybody, and everything's cool and kosher, so everything's chilled out. That's that one world order at that time. But there's going to come a time in there once he is in proper position and set.
Is that the Antichrist?
Yeah. Well, the Antichrist actually comes out of the church. Okay, this is the beast.
I heard that. Oh, okay, go ahead.
This guy's the beast. The one that the Assyrian, the head person is the beast, and the other beast is also the whole system that he is ahead of. Now, the false prophet and the Antichrist come out of Rome, out of the Roman Catholic Church, who is actually running the system behind the scenes himself.
And there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the Vatican right now.
Oh, a lot of things are going on in the Vatican. A lot of things are going on everywhere. Like I say, the election.
Those are not conspiracies, and they all said they were.
Yeah,
no, they're not.
They're not even close. I mean, it's it's easy to say conspiracy because you don't really have any major proof, but yet you have just enough to spark your senses to want to investigate a little bit. But the thing, and this is the thing about the Bible that people fail to realize, that all the prophecies in the Bible that have been set to be fulfilled up to right now, this point in time, have been fulfilled.
Right.
Very shortly, these other ones are going to keep fulfilling. Like, we're going to find more civil unrest. Okay, we're finding more gun violence. People are trying to blame it on the guns. See, nobody wants to blame everything where it belongs, and that's back on us.
Mhm.
You know, when we won let's rephrase that. When World War II was won and World War one was one thing, but when two did it, because we jumped in and we fought the Japanese, we fought the Germans and stuff, all of a sudden we started getting happy. We got high and mighty. We forgot to give honor and glory to the victories to actually where that belonged to.
Right.
It didn't belong to us. You know, God put everything in place for the victory to take place, but that was through His power, not ours. Because in reality, if the Japanese would have just kept, marching on Hawaii, then they could have just went on into California.
Okay.
Because all the ships were right there, the battleships, aircraft carriers, but they didn't. They hit and ran.
Right.
And that was their mistake. Instead of pound and then keep going on,
Yeah.
they would have been in the West Coast in no time. So, yeah, when you read some of the articles written by the people, the imperial people, the U.S. people, and everything else, it's really amazing when you look at it. You see, there's a different hand. There's something else in this to make things go the way it did, like the Normandy. Okay, here's what 400,000 men trapped in France there, and they get 300,000+ out of there. By the help of just fishermen and people bringing their little boats along, because the big ones kept getting blown out of the water.
Right.
So.
And do you think, so there's, to me, this is what's happening too, and this is has to tie into this New World Order and all the craziness and the biblical stuff. So the Nazi German scientists, right? And they were doing all of these scientific experiments back in the day, and we talk about how awful that time with Hitler was.
Right.
Okay, and of course it was. But it's almost like we were told. Almost, not in so many words, but we were told in school that was all over and we defeat that and that was all done.
Right.
But then there's, like actual documentation with, I think it's, oh my goodness, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's Project Paperclip, where they brought Werner von Braun over here, and he was a Nazi scientist. And so now they come over and they were put in America. They were put in Russia. They were put probably in China. All these different. So the Nazi scientific experiments never ended. No. And to me, that's still happening. Is that what you?
Yeah, you're gonna find experiments happening, but they're I guess you would say covert experiments and stuff.
Absolutely.
But no. The idea of stop experimenting or doing things with people, will go on both in this country and other countries. I mean, it's just, hey,
I mean, I've heard of some horrific experiments that they could, I don't have any proof of this, but when you dive deep into some of these things, it's basically animal and humans being merged. And isn't that they were talking about that in Atlantis? And they were talking about that they have Egyptian kind of stuff
writings and stuff like that. Yeah, you have that kind of stuff. A lot of those things. It's really hard to say, because there's a lot of things like, say, the Greeks and stuff. You got a lot of their mythology, but still, at the same token, you got to think.
There's got to be some truth to some of that mythology.
Something happened that spurred someone's mind, imagination, or whatever, to put something forth like that. And so, I think there's truths in a lot of things, and I think there's a lot of exaggerations within those truths too.
Well, now they're merging humans with technology, So is that part of this beginning for this mark of the beast, is what I'm wondering.
Well, you see, you got to also, all right, now.
Because you can't buy and sell goods without it. You can't,
Right. I mean, that one right there, there's a lot of, because of the technology that we have right now, like I saw this thing on, I don't know, it was one of the channels, kind of like yours and stuff,
Mhm,
that they were saying that if you got the shot
mhm.
and you take a coin and you put it on your arm, it'll
I've heard
stay
a
there.
magnet. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've heard that.
but that doesn't make sense because coins aren't. They're demagnetized. Coins you could put in.
Oh yeah, I've heard a magnet. I have no idea.
Yeah,
And I don't even know if that.
So that you know, you think about that, makes absolutely no sense because there's nothing that, unless it was a piece of glue or tape or
Right.
something.
I'm just wondering if they're getting people more comfortable to do that. You know what I mean? To get to that point.
You know, it's
Because the RFID chip is already a thing.
right. That's
You
true. That's true. And there's chips and things. You know,
It's
as far as it goes,
And you've
I
got
can't-
these celebrities talking about it, like, oh yeah, it's so much easier, and I do this. And
yeah, you know, I
Influence.
mean, I have no experience with that kind of stuff. And, you know, there's some things that are mind over matter kind of
Right,
stuff that the
absolutely.
mind is what matters.
Absolutely.
And, oh, this, I'm going to tell myself this
Frequency.
shit works or whatever.
Yeah.
But there are other things that they hook to you, like those pacemakers they hook to you.
Mhm.
So,
Right.
you know,
There's a time and a place for medicine for sure. And
Absolutely.
so there's good technology.
there's very good technology. It's
And there's
just
some
that
creepy
too many,
technology.
some real creepy technology. Like, yeah, you want to do what? You
Yeah,
know,
for sure,
you
for
know.
sure. Oh my goodness.
I like me just fine, thank you.
Yeah, no doubt. So let's talk about. You were telling me about the black cube,
Yes.
and because
Mecca.
I've talked about, and I by no means am I saying that I'm against the Muslim faith, but because I don't want to put that out there. However, I do think that there's a lot of things in almost every religion. There's great stuff, and there's some freaky stuff.
Yeah.
Okay?
Like,
And I
what
think
the-
a lot of the good stuff has been suppressed to
Yes.
advance the dark side. I'll call them
the
the dark side.
Very
it's almost
good.
like we're,
Yes,
yeah.
it is.
So I mean, in both. But I have I've done some research on, and I think I've done videos on it. I'll have to find the right one. But how Jupiter, sorry, not Jupiter, Saturn, right? It has a cube on it, basically. It's like, it's supposed to be, some people say it's a storm at the top, but it's like it's a pentagram, right? Up on the top. Well, if you flip that, it ends up being a cube, okay? And so that's what they're saying, which I'm not 100%, but you know, these are the things that I've been looking into. So Saturn, Satan, right? And the projection on our own consciousness.
Right.
And then this Mecca, you know, it's creating a
Exactly.
storm. When they're
Storm,
walking
you're
around
right. It looks
So, and that's
exactly
the
like a
black
storm.
cube. And you were telling me about the attacks on
9/11.
tires. Yeah, or tires.
The towers.
Towers is what I meant to say. And now they have, because I didn't know this part, they have, it looks like a black cube.
Yeah, and it's an inverted black cube. It's an innie, not an outie.
Huh.
And so
What
it
does that
is
mean?
like your belly button. You either have
Yeah,
an
no,
innie or an
I know
outie.
what that
Yeah.
means. I mean, just in general, like, what is that inverted thing? Because they like to invert everything. So I'm wondering.
Well, see, it's like this. It's like your yin, your yang, and stuff like this. So the cube is sticking out on the yin, and on the yang here, it's sticking in.
Right,
So that's a representation of that. But it's to keep in good with Saudi Arabia, because they got to remember now, Benny Boy's from Saudi Arabia here.
Right.
And so, you know, there's so much going on here that, you know, it makes one wonder, well, why don't you put a church of some sort down here beside the Muslim mosque in a tower that's American, that's supposed to represent the falling towers by a Muslim who brought them down. So you put Muslims in the tower that they brought down, like they're parading, like, you know, they did something.
Right.
So.
And then, so that's, you know, the Mecca and the black cube, and with the Muslim faith. And then the Vatican has got a bunch of stuff about pedophilia, and they're being busted all over the place.
Oh yeah, that's been going on for
Right.
so long. That's because the unholy Roman Catholic Church is unholy. It always has been, but they fool people because a lot of people like, oh, I'm going to go baptize my kid. Well, that's not, when you read what a real baptism is, you know, one, you don't baptize children. Two, they don't sprinkle. Baptize means submerge.
Okay.
And so that's where you get baptism at. And so it's a full submerging.
And they did that in the it was at the Jordan River.
Well, they did. Yeah, it started out in the Jordan River, and then it progressed from there. But any body of water that you could submerge yourself in completely would work. Even that tub would work right there. But sprinkled, poured, dab, all that stuff, that's not it. Because it's the rebirthing. It's the beginning. In other words, it's like reverse birth. When you accept all the provisions that God has put forth for us for salvation through his son Jesus Christ, one of the requirements is baptizing. Once you've been baptized and you come out of the water, it's like you are now in embryonic state until you're truly born again. Born again deals with the spirit. Once you're gone, then you're born into the spirit.
Right.
We do not have immortal spirits. We have mortal spirits. The only way to get an immortal spirit is through the provisions of God. After that, there's no provision for sin or anything. It's just you get. That's why they use it like the fat of a lamb or something. You'll fall in and just be burned up like that. And so, but those who are obedient become immortal. The ones who are immortal are angels and demons, or former angels. And those ones right there, that's the one that's given everybody all the hassle because of the rebellion. And then you have this big catabole that happened on the earth because a third of the angels revolted. That's why the universe is in decay. It shouldn't be. Even the earth is in decay, but because of disobedience. And so when you disobey, you pay. And that's what's happening now. We're getting ready to pay severely. We have terrorism in our country like never before. Look at these mass shootings that are happening, just boom, 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 boom. But it's going to escalate and get even worse, Everyone's trying to get some new bill or special right for themselves when no. Our laws are set that everyone should be equal. Now, if someone treats you unequal, you got to say something. I'm really sad and sorry about a lot of our black Americans and the Asian persuasion, and also the Jewish population that are being tormented lately, But everyone has to have someone to hate to make themselves feel better.
Right.
And so.
And divide and conquer.
Divide and conquer, right.
That's what breaks my heart, because I'm like, come on, let's just. Not by any means am I saying we need to push it under the rug or anything like that, but I'm like, we've got to keep, like you said, keep your eye on the prize. It's not about all of this.
Right.
It's about banding together, which they do not want.
They don't want. See, that's the thing. If we were to band together, you're absolutely right, like a family, we could do incredible things. Absolutely. But because we live in a selfish and self-centered society, it's all for me and me for me. That's it,
right. All about ego right now.
That's it. Yeah. So,
and going within and in my, my faith, I guess you could say, going within and talking to God from within is, and there's always some kind of distraction. There's always some chatter out here that you can't focus. And it's like, well, that's our connection. That's, that and the breath are my two big ones. And I'm like, oh. It's weird to me how people are not understanding all of these things that are coming together.
Yeah, it's right in front of your eyes, but see, those are the people that are blinded. I mean, people don't change unless something traumatic happens in their life to make them change.
I'd say this is all happening right now.
It's happening right now.
It's exciting to me, which I know sounds insane.
No, but it should be. I think
it's more like, this is exciting to me because I'm like, ooh, this is really happening. And I know the outcome.
See, that's the thing. You got front row seat. You know what's going on and what's coming down. A lot of these other people, they'll go into these churches and stuff, and they'll throw out some stupid sermon, and everyone will walk out of it smiling. Oh, wasn't that a wonderful sermon? Oh, yeah. I didn't understand a damn thing he said. I don't know what's going on, but oh, yeah, he spoke eloquently and stuff like this. they don't tell you the truth, you know. Here very shortly, all this is to come about, one, to punish us, to let us know we are not in charge, and two, for Christ to come back and take the kingdom of God. Satan's gone, and he'll rule the earth. So we'll have a new channel that we will be tuned into.
I love that.
And it'll be
channel.
peace, right? And that's exactly what it is, because we're dialed into Satan's station, you know, ever since the garden and stuff, you know.
And that is exactly like I say it as frequency. And I'm like, and then
it
you
is
just
a
said the dialing
frequency.
into the channel. I'm like, wow,
It is exactly what it is. I
You
mean,
just hit it.
you know, like I say, people are dialed into selfishness, into me, into materialistic stuff. So you're not getting the right frequency. So you're involved in all the animosity and all the trauma that's going on out there. But when you get people that are spiritual, we're a little peculiar because we may not understand everything.
Oh, people think I'm insane.
You know, and that's true. But see, that's the difference between people like us and just the regular out there that just walk around. Well, this has got to be like this and this and that.
Sleeping.
Bullshit.
I think it's
sleeping. Right? They're
consciously
asleep.
they're sleeping.
And they're consciously in denial too.
Right.
So, but no, it's pretty cool, you know, because I'm looking forward to the things getting ready to come. It's going to be sad. It's going to be terribly sad because you know, there's going to be a lot of people hurt because that Holocaust, everything. See, we like putting the past in the past, and like, oh well, let's pull these statues down of these men. We shouldn't have statues.
Stop it.
You know, like, wait a minute, hold on. You're just trying to erase the past like it never happened. You should leave things up and learn and put down on the plaque who this person was, what they did and stuff. Not the grandeur of them, but of the foolishness and the ignorance of people back then.
Right.
But it's still carried on, you know, even to this day. I mean, there's some real ignorant people out there like, oh, well, you're black, you're this or that.
Right.
You know, I mean, I don't go for that. I wasn't raised that way, you know. I'm glad I was raised the way I was raised, you know. I mean, you know, unless someone, you know, does something to show that they're ignorant and shit, you know, hey, give everybody an opportunity.
Absolutely.
And then even
don't
sometimes
judge them by who they are, right? You judge them by the character.
Right. Not by the looks and stuff.
Exactly.
You know, because there's some real, I mean, I've met some people that, man, I wouldn't have this fucker around my family for anything. But once you meet them and you hear them talking and really very bright or have some really good instinct or something really unique about them, it's nothing like what you saw and you made them to be.
Right.
They're actually, you know, hey man, this is all right. This is good to know you. And
well, you had to do that a lot on all of your adventures because you went over there not knowing anyone or anything.
No language or anything. And that's the thing is, you know, the people that you expected the least that would be really cool turned out to be super cool.
Yeah.
And like I say, it blew my mind. I mean, you know, but that also comes from a blessing of being obedient.
Right.
When you're obedient, you get good things. When you be a fool, you know, you get treated like a fool.
Right.
And so the military, everybody over there, even the tribes that I was privileged enough to get hooked with, because you just don't go into these tribe places by yourself and things. You know, I had one introduced meeting one time, and you knew this was a big tribe because to get there, you had to go through the gauntlet. That literally like a block, long block building with different stalls came around and down to the road. And you know, behind every one of those big doors, you know, the shop doors and stuff, there was an AK-47 back there. If you see a red cross on the wall, that's not an emergency thing to bandage yourself.
Yeah.
That's got extra ammo and clips in it. You know, that's what it means. You know, it's cool, man. And you walk the gauntlet, and then all of a sudden you're here at this big old door with a little teeny peep door right there, and then get invited in because I was with a friend, and he introduced me, and after that I went there by myself. But you know, being the guy I used to be, I used to sell drugs and pot
Right,
and all kinds
right.
of stuff. So I had a thing.
Pot's not a drug. Come
Yeah,
on now.
well, yeah, really,
Back
yeah,
then,
no,
yes, it
yeah,
was illegal.
attitude
But yeah.
adjustment,
Yeah.
but I mean other things too. But the thing is that if I had two batches, one that was good and one that was half-assed, the half-assed would go in my right pocket because I'm right-handed, and the good stuff would go in my left pocket. Special friends and things.
Yeah.
So if someone want to buy something, whatever, oh yeah, I don't know from Shinola or nothing, and I don't really give a shit. So here you out of the left pocket. He tried that one with me, and or out of the right pocket. He tried that with me. I told my friend Feisty, I says, hey man, tell him I don't want what's in his right pocket. Tell him to pull out what's in his left pocket. I want that stuff.
And he really did have that.
He really did have it.
No way.
And he goes, he told him in Urdu, my friend, he could speak both English and Urdu and many other languages. And he says, how did you know that? I says, I used to do that. I know this trick. Yeah. I put the shit in my left pocket and the good stuff in my right, or my left pocket and my shit in my right pocket. So I didn't make a mistake. So if it's someone I didn't really give a shit about or whatever, he would get out of the right pocket. But if it's a friend or an ally or something, you get the good stuff out of the left pocket.
And you have the coolest things going
on. Oh yeah, dude busted up laughing. He just thought that was cool. He said, all right. So he pulled out and he gave me, and ever since then, he always gave me good. So they don't know how to smoke hash in Pakistan. I'm going to tell you right now. They take their hash and they put it in their palm. Well, first they take a cigarette, dump it out, get all the stems out, and then they mash it and roll it all in and redo that. Well, now you're smoking tobacco and hashish.
Sweat and
no.
particles.
This is how you do it properly. So I took this little guava can. It looked like a Red Bull size, a little can. Emptied it out in a cup, gave it to his son, pulled the tab off. So I squeezed it and crushed the middle so it caved in for a bowl. Took the tab, broke the tab.
We did that all the time as kids.
I know. Popped 3 little holes in it and then put a carburetor on. They're watching me. Then I showed them how to do hashish. So I told them, this is what you do with the hash. You're ruining it doing this.
Yeah.
Take a little lighter to it. And what it does is it makes it fluff and boom. And so then I was able to put that in the can like that. And they were amazed just looking at how that worked. And so then I put it back in the little baggie and stuff. And I showed him what to do with the carburetor.
Yeah.
And so he goes, well, you try it first. All right, here we go. So I did first. I knew better.
Yeah.
Take a little bit, undo the carburetor like a steamroller, and oh no, this big dude. I mean, he was a big dude too. He was the boss guy. No problem. I'm trying to tell him, let go, stop already. He just fucking vacuumed that thing in, man. And I'm telling you what, his eyes kind of rolled back a little bit, and he just exhaled this huge and cloud of smoke, and all his buddies and stuff are right there looking at him and stuff.
They're like, this American is crazy.
Yeah.
You know that?
And he tells Feisty, he goes, I have never been so fucked up on hash in my life. I says, you've been smoking it wrong. You've been smoking with cigarettes. After that, they know the can. So whenever I'm in the territory, whether I'm in Klosh Valley or in Central, it was always a can. Never hash. Can? Yeah, we'll do can, man. I got can. So
that is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so what is happening with you right now?
Well, right now, a lot of things, because of a lot of things that are happening in the world and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm preparing and hoping and praying to be able to come up with everything I need to get back to pack for this last time to put an end to it.
Yeah.
I couldn't last time because there's too much Al-Qaeda, plus my kidneys and stuff.
Now you're all good.
Now I'm all good. So
what, can you talk about what you're going to do, or do you not want to talk about
well, it's hard to talk about because really, with me, it's more spontaneous.
Yeah.
I go with it because when I make plans, it's too easy for them to be wrong, so I just let the spirit guide me.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what,
it's worked for you so far.
It's worked fantastic. I mean, the adventures, we could be here a month of Sundays and still not run out of adventures and
my
stuff.
Goodness. I would love
wildlife.
love to have you back on at some point and talk to you more about
Love to
all
come
of this
back.
stuff.
Love to come back.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so very much. You have no idea what an honor this is.
It's actually good for me too. I mean, actually, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have known it. This is the 11th year anniversary tomorrow.
It is. And 11 is a godly number.
Yeah. And so,
Yeah.
you know, it's kind of funny. Actually, when you told me, it just gave me chills because I feel the spirit moving again in me.
Yeah.
And, you know, the thing is that learning to be patient and let it develop instead of trying to force it or figure your own a mind into it.
I think I have to take a step back all the time and remind myself of that. I'm like, I try to control, and then I'm like, oh wait. And it's like, it always works better if I just kind of go with the flow.
Go with the flow, right?
Like this, like I didn't, you know, I had all these things and I'm like, okay, I'll answer, you know, and it just so much easier.
Yeah.
And I think we covered, you know, majority of things that
we covered a majority, but I know you're going to come up with some more questions later and people will ask you other questions too.
Yes.
And so I would like to get back and answer some more questions because there's so much out there.
And I think we need to, I talked about this with you a while back, but, and we'll get more into this off camera, but I want you to set up, or we got to set you up like a Venmo or something so that people can donate to you and you can.
That sounds good. I don't know how it does. I don't have a computer. I don't have an email anymore. Also, I don't even do Facebook. I think there's still a thing out there, but I looked at it 2 times, I think maybe 3 tops.
Yeah.
It was so depressing. I mean, not that there wasn't some good stuff, but so many of these people out there that think they know so much about, oh, I would have done this, I would have done. If you would have done it, your ass would have been there already. So don't tell me what the hell you're going to do. You know, all these wannabes. I call them line jumpers.
Yeah.
You know, they stay back in the shadows and all scared and stuff. And then all of a sudden something comes to fruition or something happens good. Bam, they're right there front and center like they thought of the whole thing. They did it and stuff. Like,
I know a lot of people like that too. Yeah. And you're like, okay. Well, all right. We'll talk about that and we'll get you going on something. But until then, in my description box down below, I've got links to me. If you like, you can email me and then maybe, you know, maybe questions for Gary or, you know, stuff like that. And maybe we'll have him on again.
Yeah, because there's a lot of questions out there, and I know there's a lot that people wanted to ask. Like I was on The View, and they kind of got interrupted, the girls on the left of me to pose to the girls on the right, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, there's a lot of unique questions that people want to answer.
Yeah. I think some of that even is suppressed because that's all mainstream media, which I know that there's a lot of stuff they don't want to talk about. So
no, they don't. They don't want to talk about it.
You can talk about anything on my show,
right? Yeah, because see, the thing is, their shows are political.
Yeah.
You know, they're backing political parties. I'm not a Democrat and I'm not a retarded. You know, I'm an independent. I could think for myself.
Right.
And
agreed.
Yeah.
There's so many times that I'm like, you know, of course I like a certain politician, but am I going to worship that one? And like, if I find out some stuff later, I'm going to be like, oh no, there's so many people that I know. And I know, you know, I just said, I'm going to let you go. And then, okay, give me 2 more seconds.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I'm at your beck and call.
But there's so many people that are like, well, no, you know, so-and-so could not have done this. And I'm like, you know, even the people that I am very much into and I'm like, oh, you know, I really like this person. If I hear later that like, hey, you know, this person wasn't such a good guy, or you know what I mean? It's like worshiping false idols, right? Like, okay, well, I'm fluid. I can think for myself. I can be like, okay, well, you know, I was wrong. Okay, now I can move instead of being like, there is no way. Like, do you know him?
Really? What do you really know about this person?
About them. They're very hidden.
Right.
So anyways, point being, I'd love to have you on again. You can talk about anything on my channel.
And you can ask anything on the channel.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
And thank you. This has been great.
Yes.
And I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Call in. Hey, we'll talk some more.
All right. Talk to you guys soon. Welcome to your Ascension Creator. Okay.
And that's a take.
Yeah.